This morning, we are encouraging you to take control of your own health by eating less salt. Now, we all know that salt enhances the flavor of food, but too much of a good thing could be bad. It is World Salt Awareness Week, and Andrea is here to show us some healthier alternatives to having salt in our diets. Andrea, always good to have you here. Now, something that I've become quite aware of in my own life is that I consume way too much salt. Why is it so bad for us?
Too much salt can increase your blood pressure, and that can increase your risk for a heart attack or other cardiovascular problems.
Yeah.
And we get used to the taste of salt. And I'm so pleased you mentioned that we add salt to food to bring out the flavor of that particular food. So, you know, I'm one of those dietitians that don't want to be the no-fun dietitian. So it's not only saying use less salt, but to give a few tips and practical tips.
Thank you.
Yes, on how to flavor our food.
I love the practical tips that you give, but before we get there, which are the main culprits when it comes to foods with lots of salt in it?
If we look at us eating too much salt, it's through the salt we add at the table and at cooking, but also through processed foods. So some foods that we perceive to be healthy and they've got healthy properties also contain lots of salt, so we need to be mindful. So try to reduce one's intake of feta cheese, olives, other pickled foods that taste salty. Biltong, one of my favorite snacks, but be mindful.
Packed with salt.
Yes, there's lots of salt in there. And also processed and cured meats are packed with salt.
Okay, so then which alternatives can we incorporate into our cooking then?
Well, for cooking, a few that I use specifically include fresh herbs, some spices, and lemon juice.
Okay.
So you can either add the lemon and the rind to your cooking, or just the juice. Some fresh herbs add actual flavor. Lemon actually gives a salty taste to food.
Really?
Yes.
That's
you
awesome.
should try it.
That's good to know. Okay.
And the fresh herbs, obviously, that adds flavor.
Yeah.
So if you add flavor in the form of herbs and spices, for example, you need less salt.
All right.
And then black pepper, wonderful to add more flavor.
Very nice.
Now, I love using a salt grinder.
Okay.
But what we have to remember is that the particles of salt that ends up on your food are much bigger, the crystals of salt.
Okay.
So you don't need that much salt. So if you've got high blood pressure, try and use less of this, more of the natural flavors. And if you use salt, the fine grained salt.
Okay. Also, there's the salt and then there's the sea salt.
Yes.
Is there a difference between using those two?
If you look at different types of salt, even the Himalayan type salts, etc., all of them contain lots of sodium chloride. So if you have high blood pressure, the same would apply. Try to reduce your intake. But naturally, the vegetable type salts contain more nutritional value.
Yes.
So, but we still need to be careful. And I think many people go for the option of soy sauce as a salt replacement.
I've started using more soy sauce as well. I like the taste of it in my food, but it is a better alternative, you say?
Not always. Soy sauce is packed with salt. That is just the natural recipe of soy sauce, contains lots of salt. So if you eat sushi, always try and find the low sodium soy sauce.
The one with the green cap.
That's right, yes. But make sure that you read on the label as well. So just a green cap is not necessarily a lower sodium. But and talking about reading labels, Vital's always had the regular soy sauce, which is MSG free, which is healthy, but it's still packed with salt. So our fantastic product development team came up with flavored soy sauces. So they've added flavor components of chili, garlic, ginger, sesame, etc. And that reduced the amount of salt that was needed in the recipe.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
So compared to the original soy sauce, we have the thick, sweet and sour and chili flavors that contain 44% less sodium.
Nice.
So that's a drastic reduction. And my favorite is this one. It's got 60% less sodium, and it's garlic, ginger and sesame.
Very nice.
So it's a very good one for sushi if you eat that at home.
And I found that I also need less of this kind of soy sauce as opposed to the ones that I originally used to use, where I just used to dollop the entire bottle over there, because it's got so many other flavor-inducing ingredients in there as well.
So the idea really is to add flavor to our diets, but to read the labels and be mindful of the amount of salt we eat, and enjoy a healthy diet.
Wonderful. I love this. Thank you so much for just opening up our minds to the fact that all we're really after is flavor. And when you know what other things you can use, spices, lemon, herbs, you can get all the flavor you need.
That's it.
Oh, I love it. Thank you so much, Andrea.
You're welcome.
Now, here's your challenge for the week. Find alternative options to using salt. The benefits for your own life, I'm sure, will be astounding. You can get a hold of Andrea on her Facebook page for more information on this and other topics. That's Andrea du Plessis, Vital Expert.
Be whoever you need to be with Vital.